Well, noisy laptop. Okay. Hope that doesn't bother anyone. Yeah, I'm going to do another art dump video. So this one is for July. We've finally reached the end of this month, so it's time for another one of these. And I thought, because I kind of did this in the last one, where I read out a comment that I'd just been posted, and I felt very flattered by it. And there are a couple of people who they often say very nice things about me, and I think you should follow them because they themselves are really good artists. So yeah, I'm gonna read these comments right here just to get things started. This first one is a Twitter comment from May Lonier. I think that's how it's pronounced. I'm really bad at pronouncing names, especially Twitter names. That's something that I do have trouble with. Yeah, and they say Belugatoons is a really dedicated cartoonist with very interesting characters. He interacts with his audience, even allowing them to get involved in his Ask Ema comics, which isn't something I've seen others do. I thought that was lovely. I really appreciate that. And again, I think you should check out their work as well, because they do a lot of amazing artwork. There is another one here from Julie Kitsuli, and I've mentioned Julie a lot in this series because we've done a lot of work together and done a lot of collaborations and things like that. So her comment says, another artist you should commission is Belugatoons. He does the cutest, most expressive characters. I requested this piece, Personas of Me and a Special Someone, and he went above and beyond. Look at the wonderful dynamic poses and beautiful shading. Definitely get his art. And you may recognise that picture because I talked about it in the previous video, so some of you already know about that one. But again, I thank you so much. Thanks to both of those, my mutuals, who are just lovely people and always saying things that make me feel so happy. And yeah, to anyone, if you have some nice things to say, please do comment, and they will make my day, and I'll put them up on these videos. It'll be a thing that I can do to start things off. So here we go. I've now got the first image up for this. So yeah, this is Alison. Me and Julie do this thing called Femme Fatale. It's like an art project that we do together, and we've come up with a lot of our own characters for it. And Julie came up with Alison. She's the sister of Claire Kitty. And in this picture she's supposed to be dressed as Peggy. That's the idea, that's what I've tried to do here. That little star on her cheek, the Dolly Peg earrings, and the hairstyle and the colour coordination of her outfit, that's all based on Peggy, one of the other characters from this. And I just thought it was a cute idea because she really looks up to Peggy, and I thought it would make sense for her to want to dress like her, and so that's the whole idea of this. And I spent quite a lot of time trying to make the surrounding area look like a bathroom, because in the past I've really struggled with things like this. I'm not very good with details and backgrounds and things like that, so I thought I'll try not to overdo it. I'll just put what needs to be there, because I thought if the door is slightly open, then we might need to show some different wallpaper to show that that's the hallway. So yeah, I mean, I think it looks okay. And yeah, the way I've drawn that little phone that she's holding to do the selfie, the mirror selfie, that's sort of inspired by me looking at other ways that other people, because I had this one way of drawing mobile phones, and like it wasn't out of date, it just wasn't very accurate to what they actually look like, because it somehow didn't occur to me that most phones have the camera in the corner rather than kind of in the middle part, because that's what I used to do. So yeah, I'm just trying to get out of my comfort zone a bit more, and this one I did for a live stream that I did on Periscope. Excuse me. And this was actually again Julie's idea, because she was watching, and I asked if anyone had any suggestions, anything they wanted to see me draw, and so she suggested a bat character, because there aren't any bats in the Femme Fatale universe. So yeah, and we came up with Betty, and yeah, I can't remember whose idea it was to put the little bell on her neck, because I think it was Julie Kitsuli and Jeff Stanley were watching this stream, so that they helped me through that one, and I think this character looks pretty cute. That was what I was going for. I think the way I've drawn the eyes there, it's another example of how I'm sort of stepping out of my comfort zone, and I'm trying to learn from other artists and sort of follow their example. That's it. Yeah, I'm trying to think about what it is about their art that I love so much and apply it to what I do, because I do feel like I need to, because some might say you shouldn't do that, you should just do what you like to do, but I think I've talked about this before, but yeah, I want to at least try. I want to know that I can do, like, because I'm constantly seeing details in other artists' work that I like so much. I want to have a go at it. I want to see if it is possible for me to follow their example. Let me enlarge this one a little bit. This is the thing that a lot of these sizes, they tend to shrink down when I'm putting them all together. I feel like I've already talked about this one, but actually I don't think I have. Hilda. I haven't drawn a lot of pictures of Hilda. And the inspiration for this was at work. We had a lot of flies. They just sort of made themselves at home in the kitchen at my workplace. Yeah. And while I was watching them buzzing around, I just had this image. This came to my, I thought, because I've been toying with the idea of making Hilda sort of a cleaner, but maybe that could be her job, because I spent so much time thinking about this character and not really drawing her at all, but thinking, what does she do? What kind of character is she? And yeah, so I don't know how many more times you're going to see her, because I don't really. As I say, I think about her more than I actually come up with ideas and draw them. This looks good, because I like how the cans came out, because I looked at a lot of pictures of cans, like a lot of clip art and things, and tried to think, I want to make them look like metal cans, because I've drawn things like this many times in the past, and I haven't really tried. This is another thing. I just think I'm so much more satisfied with my work if there is a certain amount of detail to it, because it's one of those things where at the time there is something quite satisfying about not having to put an awful lot of effort into your work, but there are also things that make it so that you do, like, because the thing that I find is when I look back at my work, like I'm doing now, I'm going back through the work that I've done over the past few weeks, and I want to be able to think, I'm quite pleased with that, because I'm a lot more pleased with this one than I was of the first one I showed you. So it's funny. I think this is one of my better drawings, actually. The only thing is, like, the cloud doesn't quite work, because the things I didn't want it to cover up Hilda too much. I wanted you to be able to see her expression. So yeah, I might have to. I'll bring this down a little bit. Now, this is another character from the Light Years Apart series, and because I was thinking, so far I had a few characters who were alien cops. So there was Ema, Zola, and Ulba, and then I just got to thinking that they need to have a chief. There needs to be someone who's in charge of their department, and so this is Rhonda, and they do all have names that end in A, and I think really that's because when I'm trying to come up with a name for a female character, I like the names that end in A, and it might be because I did a bit of research, and there is like a European rule where most feminine names end with an A, and I just find that quite interesting. You never really find that with male names. There might be a few exceptions, but generally it's just female names that end in A. And that's just a little thing. Like, I think since I was at school, that's kind of interested me a little bit, because the other European rule is a lot of male names end in O. But I think you don't really see a lot of that anymore. Anyway, so I'm applying that to this world because I feel like I want to set some very specific rules that are easy to follow. So yeah, most female characters have names that end in an A in this universe. So yeah, that's Rhonda. As you can see, I've given her that gun that she's had, because I've never been too happy with the gun that I gave Ema. I think it looks a bit too cartoony. I mean, she's becoming more cartoony the more I do the Ask Ema stuff. So yeah, that's something. By the way, if you're not sure what Ask Ema is, I might do a live stream where I go into more of that, because I've done a lot of those and I'd like to go through them and talk about them. So yeah, that's the design for the chief of this. I still haven't come up with a name for it. The police department that Ema works for. Let's shrink this down. So yeah, here's an interesting thing. Me and Julie, we've been collaborating, and we created Femme Fatale, and it's basically a band where all the characters are different animals. And yeah, recently we created a Google Drive folder, and we put in documents and things where we put our ideas for all the stuff. We've now got this Femme Fatale Bible. Actually, because it's not in there, we also have separate files for each character, and we've written biographies for them. And Julie wrote Claire Kitty's bio, and she said that she and her twin brother were born on, what was it, the 23rd of July. So I did this for the 23rd of July to celebrate their birthday, because I thought, because the thing is, we have a Twitter for them, and we kind of pretend that they're updating their own Twitter page, and you see pictures like this. So a lot of the pictures that I've put up on these videos are for the Femme Fatale Twitter page. I didn't put a lot of effort into the background, the characters in the background, Lena over on the left and Becca on the right. They're not shaded at all. They look okay. I think I'm just very inconsistent with drawing them. Because I've drawn them in the past, and yeah, I'm still developing them and still making changes, finding out ways of improving them. And this was also for the Femme Fatale Twitter, because I liked the idea of creating summer outfits for each of the characters. So I've got Claire Kitty here, and instead of wearing her usual green skirt and fishnets, I thought I'd find like an illustration of a summer outfit, and I basically copied the way it was drawn, because again I'm trying to learn more things. I'm trying to learn how to. I really want to try and work on making clothing kind of look more like clothing, like because I'm always in awe of people who do 2D art, but when they draw characters, you can almost feel their clothing, like the textures on just like every part of the character is something that you can almost feel. And I'm really, because I'm finding that it's quite fun to design outfits. I didn't realise it before, but I really enjoy designing clothes. And I mean, this isn't my own design, as I say, I kind of copied it. But yeah, I'm working out ways in which this was like just a little experiment to just prove to myself that I could draw clothing in like that kind of way. And yeah, it's not much more solid than the stuff I've done in the past, but I feel like I am picking up. I'm definitely learning. I'm getting more. I mean, because you can see here how basic the clothing is on these two characters, because I didn't spend an awful lot of time on this one. But what's quite cool about this is I did this illustration for an audio skit that Julie and I did, because Julie does a lot of voice acting. She's very good at acting, and she can come up with brilliant voices for the characters that we've created. Because the character on the left is Estelle. She's the manager of the band Femme Fatale. That's the whole idea of her. So I just sort of I drew a picture of this character one day, and then later on I kind of tidied it up and coloured it in, and that was really all we had of the character for a while. And I showed it to Julie, and she came up with this voice that just was so perfect. And quite recently we had a go at performing a skit, because I had this idea for another manager. As you can see, he's a tortoise, and I do his voice. and it's kind of a very kind of, he doesn't talk very slowly, but he just keeps talking, and he never shuts up. He just keeps going and says a lot of things that are not relevant to the conversation. It's more kind of and that I did it that way because I thought that's what he looked like, he sounded like. You just sort of, you look at a picture and then a voice sort of, you know. I'm not a professional, so that's how I do it. I just think, what would he sound like? I can't act. I can't really act. So this was for Independence Day, and as you can see, this is the Catchu of Liberty. I think I included the original drawing in one of my previous, because it was a few months back when I originally drew this picture. And all I had to do for this was doctor it a bit so that it looked like it was nighttime, and also that the fireworks in the background. Fireworks aren't that realistic looking, but I think altogether it works pretty well, because I had to change the lighting. I had to make a dark sky with some stars. So yeah, I really had to do my best to change it and not make it obvious that it was an older drawing that I just scribbled over, because this is all done in Sketchbook. Remember, I don't have Photoshop. I did not use Photoshop for this. I used a free software. I used it for all of the digital art you're going to see. It's all done in Sketchbook. So yeah, so I don't have a lot to say about it, because I pretty much talked about how I drew the original. I just looked at lots of pictures of the Statue of Liberty and did my best to do the cat version, because this is in New York, so that's the joke there. And now we have Forky from Toy Story 4, because I drew this shortly after I went to see Toy Story 4, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was very well done. And I thought that Forky was a great character. And while I was watching it in the theatre, I just thought, yeah, I'd really like to have a go at drawing him. I thought that would be a nice addition to my Instagram. I don't know if you can see it on here that well, but because I seem to remember his sort of the red rosy cheeks that this character has. They were like thumbprints, I think. I think that was what they're meant to be like. So I not only used a soft brush to put in those little red rosy cheeks. I also went over them in a very thin white pen, and I used it to make some thumbprint effects, so they're like little rings. And I just thought that would be a nice little detail that doesn't really need to be there, but it if you take a nice close look at this drawing, you can see that they do actually kind of look like thumbprints. So I was quite pleased with that. And I tried to make it as accurate as possible. It's really hard finding a picture where you could actually see that little sticker on his foot, because at first I was just going to do a regular looking rainbow, but then I noticed it seemed that in a lot of these pictures that it was a rainbow with the colours in reverse, and I thought that was an interesting detail, and I knew I didn't have to, but again, it just seemed like a fun thing to include. I thought I'll do the colours in reverse, because I have no idea why that is, but yeah. So I'm quite happy with that one. I think that one's pretty okay. And now we have another one of my short stuff characters, because normally these characters are regular size, so I've had a go at doing miniature versions of them, and that's always a lot of fun. So this is Olba. I have shown some pictures of the original character design in a lot of the other videos. I quite like to draw some more pictures of her because I do like Olba. And yeah, I thought it'd be cute because the idea I came up with her is that she's very organised, and she always has a pen handy. So I thought it'd be cute if I drew her offering someone a pen. Would you like to borrow mine? And I thought that seemed quite cute. So yeah, I've done a few of these sort of styles, sort of chibi type style of characters. Yeah, and it's a little bit hard to get the uniform right because there are a lot of different parts. You've got like the straps on the body armor, the waist belt, and the knee pads. And when you've got a character that's sort of squashed, when you squash the design, they all kind of get very close together. But I think that works. I think that looks pretty good. And this is another drawing that I did for the same live stream where I did Betty the Bat. Wow, we're already 20 minutes in. I hope I'm near the end of this lot. And this is Nora. She is Rita's sister. If you don't know who Rita is, I'm sure you'll find out soon because, yeah, I've got lots more femme fatale stuff planned. So yeah, I don't really have a lot to say about this character because this is literally the only drawing I've done, or the only digital one. I think I scribbled her down in my sketchbook. And yeah, I think the eyes look pretty good. As again, I'm still working out how to do eyes well. But yeah, I think that works okay. And then this is another example of how I'm still not that great at drawing clothing because she's meant to be wearing a denim jacket, but it doesn't really look like denim. I haven't put any of the stitch marks in or anything. I think I just didn't get around to that. And this is another one of the summer drawings because I asked Julie what she thought that Peggy would dress like during the summer, and this was the kind of outfit that she described. She said, why not give her a t-shirt that has a slogan on it? And that t-shirt, by the way, is available on my Redbubble store. You can actually buy it. You can get it yourself. So I kind of designed it for Redbubble first, and then I thought I'd take the same image and put it on Peggy's shirt. I thought I'd do it that way around because it's easier to match it up, actually make it look like it's the actual product. And yeah, so I'll put a link in under this video for that t-shirt if you want to buy it. And yeah, so this was also for the Femme Fatale on Twitter. Not an awful lot to say. It's just and then this one was posted first because you can see that bottle that Peggy was drinking from. This was who prepared it for her, Becca. And yeah, I'm quite pleased with how this one came out. The dress, because I found a very basic kind of design sketch of a summer dress, and I kind of copied it. I made it a bit wider for her figure, and I added the little carrot pattern because as she's a rabbit, it seemed to make sense that she would have carrots. And so again, I did my best to kind of make the surrounding area look like a kitchen. There isn't an awful lot of detail there. I did play about with the colours a bit. I thought it would probably look more like summer if I added a bit of a tinge to the background. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with that one. And we're back to that one. So yeah, let's move on to the sketches. And here you can see the original sketch of Becca. And wow, I'm glad that it didn't turn out like this. This is very, yeah. I think one thing that I did quite well was the hair. But even then, again, I've just been so fickle with the design of Becca's hairstyle. So that one definitely could have turned out better. I mean, I think her pose looks a bit more, like, I think it works slightly better this way, because I don't know why I ended up crossing her legs over in the final one. I think that stance is a bit more logical, I think. And obviously, because I hadn't actually found a design that I wanted to use for the dress, so I just sort of did whatever came into my head, and I'm glad that I didn't go with that one. This is a very rough drawing, because one thing that I've noticed, because this is a little experiment that I did with, because I'm still deciding on how I'm going to be drawing eyes, and I've noticed that a lot of cartoonists draw eyes like this, like they like to go for the narrow-eyed look, where the eyes are so narrow that the pupils are mostly just you just kind of fill in a little area of it. You don't have to make them, because I think it's fascinating how I've seen a lot of artists do pupils that are not just round circles. They are sort of like they're like marks that somehow I don't know how to describe it. What am I trying to say? I don't know. I don't know what it is about the way most cartoonists draw eyes, and it gets me so frustrating because I just really wish that I was doing it that way. I feel like this whole time I would have been happier if I'd have done it that way. So this is just one of my frustrated experiments. Also, I thought, because if you want to make a character look more like a rabbit, you've got to get the nose right. You've got to draw the nose like that, rather than the way that I did with just like a round circle. This is sort of like an alternate design of Claire, and because I've always thought I can imagine her dressing like this when she's in the recording studio, because we have the outfit for when she's it's like a pop princess outfit, and that seems to be the default design that we use. But I suppose I do need to make it clear that Claire belongs to Julie Kitsuli. I don't know if I've said that yet. A lot of these characters I keep forgetting. But yeah, I mean, I always thought something like this. I've drawn a body a bit of a weird shape, but I am getting better at drawing denim. I think those do look like jeans. They look enough like jeans so that it works. You can kind of sense that it's something. This is Chad. He's a character from the Front Street Fellas, who were kind of like the rival band of Femme Fatale. Again, a very new character, and I've not done a lot of drawings of him, so I don't have a lot to say about him. But as you can see, I'm experimenting. I can't quite decide what kind of body he's going to have, because I think the one on the left is what I might go with, because he's in this band, and I kind of want him to stand out a bit more and just have like a much wider body than everyone else. So that's probably the one that I'm going to go with. This is the original sketch. I actually just did this in a notebook. Claire and Marshall blowing out the candles. You saw the final one that I ended up doing. So yeah, I'm glad that I didn't draw their mouths like that in the final one, because that does not look professional at all. And yeah, so I'm always glad that, and you may have noticed I switched their hats when I did the final one. If you go back and look, you'll see that they're wearing opposite hats. So yeah, I'm certainly glad that I draw these on paper first. I think this was worth it. That's not Daffy Duck, because as you can see, it has boobs. So I don't know what this thing is. It's Debbie Duck. I don't know. And I drew this mainly because I think I was looking at pictures of Donald Duck, because I was trying to get that kind of Disney-esque duckbill design down, because I've never really been that good at drawing it. So I think I still need to practice that, because I can never do that kind of beak shape if I don't have any reference material for it. So that's something that I intend to work on. and I don't know if this character is ever going to show up again. Again, it was just an experiment I was doing. And it's funny how I wasn't looking at any pictures of Daffy Duck, but she definitely looks a lot like him. She has almost the exact same face, that same head. But yeah, so it is meant to be a different character. I'll probably, if I do draw her again, I'll try and make her look original, because it looks a bit weird right now. So I've come up with a way of making it look like a new character. Now, this doesn't look like much, but I was really pleased because I do like how the eyes came out. Like the two at the bottom. Yeah, the one up there isn't. It looks kind of weird. But yeah, I think because I've always noticed that most artists draw faces that are very flexible, and I've come up with this character. She doesn't have a name yet, but I want to draw more pictures of her, because I think this could be a way of getting better at drawing flexible faces. Because I think the one where she has her mouth open, I had something very different in mind. So that is a classic example of how what I have in my head doesn't necessarily turn out to be what I end up doing. But yeah, I think I want to go for more of this style with a lot of my characters. This is the same character. This time I tried to do it digitally. Didn't quite work out. But yeah, so I've had a go at drawing stretchy faces. So the one on the right, if you ignore the hair, because that doesn't work at all. But I think, because I drew that kind of shape, the shape of the face, the way it's done there, based on a lot of other artists' drawings that I've seen. So yeah, I'm trying to do things a bit more like that from now on. Oh, and I've done some more as well. Yeah, I'm still really bad at drawing hair. I think these expressions are quite good. The one on the right didn't really work out the way I wanted it to. It's funny because looking at it now, I'm like, how on earth did I end up drawing it that way? But I think at the time, I kind of, because I just tend to feel around what I do. I wasn't looking at anybody else's drawings. I don't think I might have looked at the first few that I did in the notebook. But yeah, and this is another character that I might introduce into the Femme Fatale, because the name I came up with for, because she's a French poodle. Whoops. So I was thinking of calling her Fleur Piaf, and whether or not that name remains, only time will tell. But I think she looks really cute, and yeah, I'm quite happy. I sometimes struggle with glasses, but I think I did an okay job with them there. This might be one of those things where the original sketch just somehow works better than when I do it digitally, because I keep putting off doing the digital version. Oh yeah, and this is Kimmy from Femme Fatale. I haven't drawn a lot of images of Kimmy. She's a hedgehog. She plays the bass guitar for Femme Fatale. And you know, this is her summer outfit, and it's like meant to be like a watermelon pattern style dress. And I don't know, I'm probably gonna go back to the drawing board on that one, because I've kind of I've not been doing so much of these ones, because I did the one of Claire, the one of Peggy, and the one of Becca, and I've kind of ground to a halt. So whatever I don't know what's going to happen next, but these are the original designs for the T-shirt that I did, the Hot Mess T-shirt. That was just to get me started, and I think because I just wanted to nail the expression as best as I could, and yeah, I think it worked out all right. Oh, and this one, I just recently finished doing the colour version of this, and I haven't put it in here, so you haven't seen the colour version yet. That'll be in the next one. You'll see the finished version of this drawing in the next Art Dump video. So this is Ema removing her helmet, because there are two suns out there, and it doesn't make sense. The finished one does make more sense than this. Okay, that's it. Right, yeah. So I did kind of have to rush there because it's been over half an hour. But yeah, thank you for watching this to the end. You are ever so patient. So remember, if you leave any comments here, if you're polite, then I will most definitely read them out. Because I just like to encourage people to encourage me, because I was really genuinely happy with the comments that I got, and those aren't the only 2 comments, by the way. The ones that I showed at the beginning, I have been getting lots of that, and I do hope to bring more attention to people's comments. This is a thing that I'm hoping to get into a bit more. So yeah, anyway, thank you so much. I am really hot and I've got to go and have a rest now, so do take care, and I am off to the pub.